Look at your hand, right now. Do it. Wiggle your fingers. Feel the weight of the device you are holding. Feel the cold glass of the screen against your warm skin. That sensation implies a separation, doesn't it? There is you, the biological entity, the soul, the mind. And then there is the machine, the tool, the object. But ask yourself this, for how much longer will that separation exist? We often look at science fiction as a form of escapism. We look at the grim darkness of Warhammer 40,000, specifically the Adeptus Mechanicus of Mars, and we shudder. We see men and women who have voluntarily replaced their eyes with glowing lenses. We see priests who have replaced their lungs with filtration systems. We see a cult that worships technology as a god, believing that the flesh is weak and that steel is eternal. For decades, we have dismissed the tech priests as a horror story about transhumanism gone wrong, a gothic nightmare that could never happen in our clean, modern world. But open a new tab in your browser, search for Neuralink, search for the Apple Vision Pro, search for the Internet of Things. Do you see it yet? We are not just watching the rise of the Mechanicus, we are building it, brick by digital brick. Elon Musk has famously said that we must achieve symbiosis with artificial intelligence to avoid becoming obsolete. He says we are already cyborgs, limited only by the speed at which our thumbs can type on a screen. He wants to remove that limit. He wants to plug us directly into the data. This is not just a technological ambition. This is a philosophical shift that aligns perfectly with the dogmas of the 41st millennium. Today, we are going to peel back the layers of our reality. We are going to explore a concept that connects the mystical philosophy of 1920s Russia to the iron forges of Mars. We are going to talk about the Noosphere. This is not just lore. This is a warning. Because the Golden Throne is being built right now in California, and you might just be the first one to plug into it. Chapter 1. The Dream of the Noosphere. To understand the nightmare of the future, we must first look at the innocent dreams of the past. Most Warhammer fans assume the word Noosphere is just technobabble invented by Games Workshop writers to sound cool. It fits the setting, right? It sounds mysterious. But it is not fiction. It is a very real, very profound scientific and philosophical concept. Let's travel back to Paris in the year 1926. Imagine a room filled with cigarette smoke and the smell of old paper. Two men are having a conversation that will define the future of human consciousness. One is a Russian mineralogist named Vladimir Vernadsky. The other is a French Jesuit priest and paleontologist named Pierre Teilhard de Chardin. Vernadsky had a theory about the evolution of the Earth. He saw the planet developing in layers or spheres. First, there was the geosphere, the inanimate rock, the water, the air, dead matter floating in the silence of space. Then, life emerged. A thin, fragile film of green and blue covering the rock. This is the biosphere. Everything from the smallest bacteria to the largest blue whale lives here. It is the sphere of life. But Vernadsky and de Chardin argued that evolution didn't stop at biology. They believed a third layer was forming, a layer not made of atoms or cells, but of thought. They called it the Noosphere, derived from the Greek word nous, meaning mind. Think of the Noosphere as a global skin of consciousness. It is the collective sum of all human knowledge, all communication, all reason. For de Chardin, the priest, this was spiritual. He believed that as humanity communicated more, as we shared more ideas, our minds would eventually merge. We would evolve toward a supreme point of complexity and consciousness. He called it the Omega Point, a state where humanity becomes a single, divine superconsciousness, a state of pure love and understanding. It sounds beautiful, doesn't it? A utopia where we are all connected. A world where loneliness is obsolete because every thought is shared. But here is where reality begins to curdle. Here is where the dream starts to look a lot like a nightmare. In the early 20th century, the Noosphere was abstract. It was just an idea, a philosophy. Then we built the cables. Then we launched the satellites. Then we created the World Wide Web. Suddenly, the Noosphere wasn't just a philosophical concept. It became physical. We wrapped the planet in fiber optics. We filled the air with Wi-Fi signals. We created a literal sphere of data surrounding the Earth. We fulfilled Vernadsky's prophecy. But there was a problem, a bottleneck. The bottleneck is you. Your eyes can only read so fast. Your ears can only hear so many frequencies. Your mouth can only speak so many words per minute. You are a biological creature, a product of the biosphere, trying to interface with the infinite speed of the noosphere. The bandwidth is too low. You are a 56K modem trying to download the entire universe. This frustration, this limitation of the flesh, is exactly what gave birth to the Adeptus Mechanicus in the lore. And it is exactly what is driving companies like Neuralink today. The noosphere is waiting. It is hovering all around you, invisible and silent. But to enter it, to truly become part of it, you have to leave your humanity at the door. You have to upgrade the hardware. But as the tech priests found out, when you upgrade the hardware, you often accidentally delete the software that makes you human. In the next chapter, we are going to Mars. We are going to see what happens when a civilization finally succeeds in plugging their brains directly into the sky, and why seeing the internet is far more terrifying than browsing it. Chapter 2. The Nightmare on Mars. So we have the theory. Now let's look at the practice. In the 41st millennium, the Adeptus Mechanicus has finally solved the bottleneck. They do not use keyboards. They do not use mice. They do not swipe their fingers on crude slabs of glass like you are doing right now. They have the Noosphere. But the Noosphere of Warhammer 40K is not just better Wi-Fi. It is not just a faster connection. It is a fundamental rewriting of how a living being perceives reality. Imagine walking into a room. To your biological eyes, you see a generator. It is just a big gray metal box. Maybe it is humming slightly. That is all your eyes can tell you. But to a tech priest connected to the noosphere, that generator is singing. They don't just see data floating in the air like a video game interface. That is too simple. That is too human. In the lore, the noosphere is often described as haptic. It appeals to the senses in a way that bypasses the eyes entirely. A tech priest might taste the radiation leaking from a reactor as a sharp, metallic tang on the back of their tongue. They might feel the battery level of a combat robot as a literal pressure on their skin. When a machine is malfunctioning, they don't see an error code flashing red. They hear a scream of pain echoing in their mind. This is the machine spirit, manifesting through data. The world becomes alive. Every door, every gun, every cogitator has a voice, and you are constantly listening to the chorus. In the novel Titanicus by Dan Abnett, we get a terrifying glimpse of how this changes communication. When high-ranking magos speak to each other, they don't use low Gothic. Speaking is too slow. Moving your tongue, shaping air with your lips, waiting for sound waves to travel. It is incredibly inefficient. It is flesh work. Instead, they use Binharic cant. They burst transmit entire paragraphs of information, entire blueprints, entire tactical debates in a single microsecond. Imagine having a 3-hour argument about philosophy and logistics in the time it takes to blink your eyes. To a normal human standing nearby, it just sounds like a burst of static. Skirt, done. But inside the noosphere, it is a symphony of pure information. It is absolute efficiency. However, this absolute connection comes with a cost that defines the horror of the setting. When you are always connected, there is no offline. There is no privacy. Your thoughts are not entirely your own. You become a node in a network that is vastly older and colder than you are. In the noosphere, data flows both ways. You read the machine, but the machine also reads you. Your location, your vitals, your efficiency ratings, your devotion to the omnissiah. It is all broadcasted, all the time. You become transparent. You become data. And data does not have feelings. Data does not have rights. The noosphere is the ultimate dream of the internet, a world of pure knowledge, instantly accessible. But in 40K, it proves that knowledge isn't just power. Knowledge is a burden, and sometimes knowledge has teeth. So, looking at this nightmare of wires and lost souls, you might think to yourself, thank God this is just fiction. Thank God we are safe here in the real world. Are we? Let's look at what is happening in California right now. Chapter 3. Building the Machine God. Elon Musk has a very famous quote. He has said it in multiple interviews, and it usually goes something like this. We are already cyborgs. Your phone is an extension of yourself. You are just limited by the speed of your thumbs. Does that sound familiar? It should. That is the foundational dogma of the Adeptus Mechanicus. The flesh is weak. The biological interface is insufficient. We must ascend. Currently, humanity is in a race. We are racing to bridge the gap between our biological brains and our digital creations. And the company leading that charge is Neuralink. Now, I want to be fair. The stated goal of Neuralink is medical, to help paralyzed people walk again, to cure blindness, to map brain activity. These are noble goals. The tech priests of Mars also started with noble goals during the dark age of technology. They wanted to preserve knowledge. They wanted to heal the injured. But look at the long-term vision. Look at what is being promised. Musk has openly discussed the concept of symbiosis with artificial intelligence. He argues that if we cannot beat AI, we must join it. We must merge with it to avoid becoming obsolete. This is precisely what a tech priest does. They replace their brain matter with wafer stacks and cogitators so they can process the data of the universe without burning out. And it is not just chips in our brains, it is the world around us. We call it the Internet of Things, IoT. Your refrigerator connects to the Wi-Fi. Your car downloads updates while you sleep. Your watch monitors your heartbeat and sends it to a server halfway across the world. We are embedding machine spirits into everything. In 40K, a tech priest prays to the spirit of a door to open it. In 2024, you speak a command to Alexa or Siri to turn on the lights. Is there really a difference? We are building the infrastructure of the Noosphere right now. We are overlaying our physical reality with a digital skin. Apple's Vision Pro and the upcoming waves of augmented reality glasses are the prototypes of the tech priest's ocular implants. They are training us to ignore the physical world and live inside the data overlay. We are teaching ourselves to value the digital representation of a thing more than the thing itself. We prefer the photo to the sunset. We prefer the text message to the conversation. But here is the critical difference between us and the Mechanicus. And this is where the real danger lies. The Adeptus Mechanicus treats technology with fear and ritual. They understand that the machine is dangerous. They have protocols. They have prayers. They have caution. They know that if you disrespect the machine, it might kill you. We do not. We are rushing into the Noosphere with the excitement of children. We are plugging our brains into the cloud without asking what might be living in that cloud. We are clicking, I agree, to terms of service that we have never read effectively, signing away the rights to our own attention. We are building the golden throne, but we have no emperor to sit on it. We are creating the perfect vessel for something to enter. And as we will see in the next chapter, when you open a door to the mind, you cannot control what walks through it. In 40K, they call it scrap code. In our world, we call it something else. But the effect is just as deadly. Chapter 4. The Virus of the Soul. In the lore of Warhammer 40K, there is a specific horror associated with the Noosphere. It is something that even the bravest space marines fear. It is called scrap code. Scrap code is the malware of the warp. It is a virus that does not just crash your computer. It infects the logic gates of your mind. It makes machines scream. It makes reactors vent their coolant in a fit of rage. It turns the orderly singing of the machine god into a cacophony of madness. When a tech priest is infected by scrap code, they don't just lose their data, they lose their soul. The code rewrites their personality, turning them into a puppet of the dark gods. Now, you might say, well, that is fantasy. We don't have demons in our internet. Don't we? Think about how you interact with the digital world today. Think about the algorithms that govern your life. The algorithms of TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook are not designed to inform you. They are not designed to make you happy. They are designed for one thing only: retention, to keep you connected, to keep you scrolling. They hack your dopamine receptors. They rewrite your behavior. They feed you rage, fear, and desire, because those are the emotions that keep your eyes locked on the screen. This is a primitive form of scrap code. It is a code that alters biological function. In the Adeptus Mechanicus, a servitor is a human being who has been lobotomized. Their higher brain functions are wiped clean, and they are hardwired into a machine to perform a single, repetitive task forever. They have no will. They have no dreams. They just process. Look around you on the subway tomorrow. Look at people walking down the street, eyes locked on screens, fingers scrolling endlessly. Swipe, 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 processing data, consuming content. Are we the masters of this new noosphere, or are we slowly becoming its servitors? The price of the noosphere is silence. For a tech priest, true silence is impossible. They are constantly bombarded with the telemetry of the world, the temperature of the air, the structural integrity of the floor, the electromagnetic fields of the lights. They are never alone inside their own heads. The data is always there. As we move toward a world of brain-computer interfaces, toward Neuralink, toward the metaverse, we are voluntarily killing our own silence. Imagine a future where you cannot turn it off, where advertisements are not just on a billboard, but projected directly onto your retina via augmented reality, where you don't just read a notification, but you feel the buzz of a new email directly in your cerebral cortex. The Adeptus Mechanicus believes that the flesh is weak because it is isolated. They believe connection is salvation. But they forgot one crucial thing. The flesh provides a barrier. Your skin, your skull, your biological limits. They are a firewall. They keep the madness of the world out. They allow you to have a private thought. When you dissolve that barrier, when you plug your nervous system directly into the global network, you take down the firewall. You become a node. And nodes can be hacked. Nodes can be overwritten. In the 41st millennium, the tech priests have traded their humanity for efficiency. They have become cold, logical, and cruel. They have deleted the parts of their brain that feel fear, or love, or mercy, just to make room for more hard drive space. Is that the trade we are making? We are outsourcing our memory to Google. We are outsourcing our sense of direction to GPS. We are outsourcing our creativity to AI. Piece by piece, we are replacing the biological functions of the mind with digital equivalents. We are performing the rites of the Mechanicus, not in a temple on Mars, but in the comfort of our living rooms. Conclusion: the final choice. The story of the Adeptus Mechanicus is, at its heart, a tragedy. They sought to save knowledge, but they forgot how to invent. They sought to preserve technology, but they forgot how it works. They became caretakers of a machine they no longer understand, worshipping buttons they are afraid to press. We stand at a similar crossroads today. The prophecy of 1926 is coming true. The noosphere is here. The interface between mind and machine is inevitable. It is the next step of evolution, just as Vernadsky predicted. But we still have a choice. We can be like Arkan Land, the rare explorer in the lore who seeks to understand, to master, and to keep his humanity intact while using the tools of the gods. He uses technology, but he is not used by it. Or we can become the servitors, mindless consumers of data, plugged into a network we cannot control, feeding a machine that does not care if we live or die. Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, the pioneers of Silicon Valley, they are building the temple. They are laying the cables. They are writing the canticles. But remember this warning from the 41st millennium. The machine spirit guards the knowledge of the ancients, But the soul is the spark of the divine. Do not let the machine overwrite the spark, because once the flesh is gone, you cannot get it back. Disconnect while you still can.